Are banks getting ready to offer cash for keys? Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. So let's jump back on the real estate merry-go-round as we examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Scott, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks. And friends, do you see what's going on out here? This is insanity, right? Insane. The biggest real estate bubble ever recorded in human history, what? Couldn't sustain itself. You guessed it. It's topped out. It's maxed out. Do you think the banks are in their conference rooms with their feet up talking about all the healthy mortgages that they have out there? No. We've talked about this. Even if you capitalized on the low crisis era interest rate, if your house is no longer worth what you paid, it's not going to save you if you can't keep up with your bills. And this is what happens in recession. And this is really tricky. And there's one thing that can always help with this. And it's one of the things I preach all the time here at the show. When you're buying property, I don't care if it's your first home, your second home, whatever home, you've got to think like an investor. Does it pencil out? I learned this the hard way, so you hopefully won't have to. You can go buy in this environment. In fact, I strongly encourage you to get your agent on board and go kick the tires and shake the trees and test some people with offers on properties that pencil out with an agent that's willing to go ahead and do that with you. And believe me, agents now are getting willing. Before, I used to deal with agents all the time. They're like, oh yeah, well, unless they're all cash ready to buy, if they're ready to get into a bidding war. I just had an agent, had to fire him. I've had him working with one of you for 2 years. And because they hadn't made an offer stick yet, they got frustrated, this agent, and I don't think they're serious. I'm like, listen, they've written offers. It would be a different story if I had you working with an agent or an agent working with you, and you never even wrote one offer. But even if you were going out touring properties, that's the way it is in business, right? You've got to stick it out. These agents, a lot of areas are still very, very spoiled, but you guys are getting very, very smart. There's no urgency to rush out and buy anymore. And I understand there's certain areas where inventory still might be a little thin, and prices are maybe within the median home price average, which is always a good place to shop. Some of those areas are going to obviously perform a little better than some of these other areas. But this particular subscriber had written multiple offers right at or around asking price, and the agent couldn't make it stick. And it wasn't her fault necessarily. They just had better offers. They went with somebody else's offer. That's just the way it is. But like you and the subscriber, they're in no hurry unless they get the deal they want. Now, again, if you have an open checkbook policy, and I know a lot of you are there, I just want to buy. I just need a house. I'm ready to take it off the market. Then we got to make our offer reflect that. Hey, I like the house. I'm ready to take it off the market and give them that offer. But if you have time to kick the tires or shake the trees, kick the tires, shake the trees. Which brings us back to cash for keys. Banks they've done this drill before. Because what's going to happen in a lot of these Phoenixes and Vegases and even some of these other areas that join the bubble party, they're watching their equity go upside down in their house. Their house is no longer worth what they paid, and they can't keep up with the bills. And so they're doing everything they can. They've stopped eating out. They're trying to do whatever they can to tighten their belts to try to hang on to the home. Why, you ask? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you, because when you put that much pressure on yourself, you got into a bidding war to buy the home, the last thing you want to do is what? Lose the home. Of course not. So, with that being said, banks right now, they know they've got a sheet of houses that are definitely at-risk properties. And at some point, they're going to send out agents like me to come door knock people that are behind on their payments and say, hey, we will give you 10 grand to leave now and not wait for us to come do a foreclosure process on you with a sheriff's, department basically forcing you out and pushing all your stuff to the sidewalk. Nobody wants that. One of my favorite movies is 99 Homes. We get a chance to watch 99 Homes. It paints a pretty good picture of what happens in a real estate bubble after it pops. And these banks are holding on to a lot of toxic debt, and they're going to expect the government to come bail them out. And I don't think this bailout that's coming, because there will be some form of a bailout, but I don't think it'll look like the last bailout, because the last bailout didn't work, did it? No. In fact, a lot of these banks paid themselves hefty bonuses and didn't help any homeowners stay in their houses. They basically bamboozled them. They talked about loan modification programs. Oh, you can modify your loan. That did. Well, but all they do is put the balance of your payment on the back end of the loan. It was no forgiveness of debt. And even then, people still lost their home because the servicing rights of these mortgages were sold to a different company. Next thing you know, you're getting a notice from you now paying some other bank owns your house, basically. And eventually, people just started walking away from homes. But a lot of people dug in their heels. And I remember in the last crisis, it would take up to 2 years. They were so backlogged with foreclosures. 2 years people were able to live in their homes without making a payment before they're able to finally get a sheriff's department over there and an agent to do a forceful removal of the property to the tenant. So the banks absolutely, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, are in their conference rooms right now talking about we need to get in front of this and maybe start offering cash for keys to get these people out. Because if they start digging in their heels and it takes us 2 years to get these people out, and we have a massive decline in property values, by the time we get our hands on it, it could have lost $100,000 in value versus giving them $5,000 to leave now and get this thing on the market. And final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark infested. Banks, welcome to the swimming pool. You thought it was all rainbows and sunshine, handing out loans like it was soda pop, the thing to do. Unfortunately, you didn't scrutinize what could happen. I think a lot of scrutinization may have occurred on the quality of the borrower versus 2008, but you didn't anticipate this bubble not being able to sustain itself. And that's the $1,000,000 question. Has the pinprick actually happened with this real estate bubble? It's certainly not going up anymore, at least if it is, by a ticket or two at best. The massive run-ups are over. U.S. savings rate now is at an all-time low with U.S. debt at an all-time high. The health and the fitness of the U.S. consumer is compromised. Inflation is a runaway train. It's left the station. It is off the rails. We've got a lot of headwinds to deal with. Unfortunately, the real estate market's the biggest asset class on planet Earth. If we lose it, we lose everything. We will be thrusted into another deep cycle recession. In the meantime, I'll be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media links in the description of this video if you'd like to follow me there, along with links to channels I've appeared on I think you might enjoy. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It would be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. Also, if you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, gonna love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless. I'll see you on the next video.